Podcasting by Professionals teaches you to become the expert host of your own show and podcast for profit. Join us. We're reaching millions.
Welcome to Podcast for Profit. I'm Teresa Maron, the Learn To Queen, and our show is presented by Podcasting.By.Professionals.com. If you want to podcast for profit, then you're in the right place. Our show covers topics like content marketing, collaborations, marketing through social media and affiliate sales, and you'll get the up-to-the-minute industry news on syndication and distribution from Podcast.Place. The team at Podcasting by Professionals has a great show for you today.
Global Broadcasting Networks is a proud sponsor of this show, brought to you by Podcasting by Professionals. At GBN, we provide the ultimate experience in professionally produced podcasting and live aired radio shows through our network stations, including TogiNet.com, AllBusinessRadioNetwork.com, and LessonsInJoyfulLivingRadioNetwork.com. We are currently listened to in over 200 countries around the globe and plan to double our listening audience in 2015. We are currently looking for great content providers just like you to start your own show to reach your target niche market. We have listeners from all areas of the cultural, spiritual, and business communities looking for the convenience of connecting with you through your podcasts. What we look for in a radio show host is the commitment to professional training and show development so that you will be set up as the expert in your niche right away. We know that this is essential for your success, and that's why we are proud to sponsor Podcasting by Professionals. Ask your trainer at Podcasting by Professionals how you can get started with your very own radio show today.
Not everyone has a podcast, but everyone that does needs guests. Today, our pros take on the subject of what it takes to become an expert and promote yourself as a valued guest on the airwaves. First up, Martha Sanchez gives us the number one tip to remember when invited to guest star on an established show. Then, featured guest star Tonya Hoffmann, CEO of the Public Speakers Association, demonstrates how to deliver her expert topic, Change the World from the Front of the Room. On Learn To, you'll build your star power as a speaker with podcasting to get content to repurpose over and over with me, Teresa Maron. And then stay tuned for Red Hot Right Now insider news from the exploding podcast industry with Keith Rupnick of Podcast.Place. Oh, I hear those jungle drums, and I can't wait to hear that number one tip. Here's your host, Martha Sanchez.
It's a jungle out there, and welcome to the Marketing Jungle with me, Martha A. Sanchez, the Google Queen, where every show I bring you marketing tips that will engage your target audience and generate leads. One of the best ways to get your message out is by presenting in front of different audiences. If you are a business owner or a podcaster, you are always looking for new leads, prospects, and listeners. Are you cross-marketing with others? One of the easiest ways is to be interviewed as a guest on a panel discussion or a show. This is an excellent way to be heard by new groups that would normally not have been in your circles. Why be interviewed? Well, it gives you the opportunity to be showcased and not just present. This sets you up as an expert immediately, as well as making it more entertaining for your listeners, if done correctly. There are two roles in an interview format: the host, who is doing the interview, and the guest, who is being interviewed. Both roles are very important in making the process effective and engaging for the audience. For the purposes of this Marketing Jungle segment, I'm going to focus on the first of a 3-part series where I will be covering tips for being a great guest during an interview. Number 1, do your homework. One of the common mistakes that guests make is thinking they don't have to do anything other than just show up. You might think, what's wrong with that? After all, I am the expert and I know my material, right? Well, you may know your material, but there is some critical preparation that must take place before you go on. By doing this, you as the guest will radiate confidence and present yourself in the best possible light to the audience by showing them that you respect and value their time enough to spend your time making sure that you meet their specific needs. At the same time, you're also showing respect and gratitude for your host because they will come out looking like a professional interviewer. And all of this is because they chose you as their expert. This is what I call a triple win. What do I mean by this? This is a win for you, the audience, and the host. Now let's talk about some of the things that you need to do to prepare. Listen to other shows the interviewer has done to learn their style, format, and tempo. Are they formal or informal? For example, does your host engage with the guest by commenting on responses or just move to the next question? Does your host take questions from the audience or call in? This is a key element that you need to know so that you are prepared and not caught off guard. Who is your target audience? Remember, the same host may have many different events targeting different audiences. For example, your host may normally just target realtors, but in this particular event that you're going to, they may be having a joint session with mortgage brokers. Is their show more relaxed or fast-paced and energetic? It is important that you adjust your energy and pace to theirs as much as possible while still being yourself. This will make your interview run smoother and sound more natural. Tip number 2 focuses on the importance of communication, and number 3 circles back around to another area that requires preparation. We don't have enough time to discuss tips 2 and 3, but you can learn more details by reading my blog at podcastingbyprofessionals.com. And remember to tune in next week for part 2 with more tips on how to be a great guest. This is Martha A. Sanchez, marketing expert for Podcasting by Professionals, signing off.
This is Podcast for Profit. Learn how to start your podcast at podcastingbyprofessionals.com.
This is Tonya Hoffmann. I'm the CEO and founder of the Public Speakers Association, and I want to bring real value to you today. I want to talk to you a little bit about creating speeches that sell. It's what, I love bringing to my clients and my members because it's usually what they struggle with, is how do they create a speech that has impact on their audience. So here's 3 techniques that I think will be very beneficial for you today. One of it is showing your real personality. And I know that you're like, well, how does that have to do with selling? And what does that have to do with speeches? Well, when people come to listen to you, yes, they're coming because of the value of your expertise. But what they truly enjoy and what they resonate with is your personality, whatever that personality is. So you have to figure out, who are you? And then emphasize it. So I know when I started speaking, yes, I gave people great value. I taught them things. But I didn't convert very many people to new clients. And it was because I got up on stage or in front of this group and went over and tried to get them to, learn what I was trying to teach them. When I realized that people loved my goofiness, they loved my personality, and then that was what they were resonating with, right? That is when things started changing, is when I started going, okay, I'm going to give them who I am first, and then I'm going to give them the connections that they need to go beyond that. So that's what I want you to do, is look at who you are and how do you emphasize your personality. Whatever that personality is, it is yours and yours alone. From the way you look to the way you present, the way you speak. Okay, so that is one of the most important things, is to show up with who you are and stop trying to pretend you're someone else or just that you're just trying to get the information across. The second one is really about how are you connecting with your audience. So a lot of people don't connect. Again, they're trying to get that information out there, but they don't stop and make eye contact. Stop looking at the tops of the people's heads and look at their eyes. They want to see that you're connecting, that you're getting them, that you're experiencing what they're experiencing. Maybe they're confused. Well, now you know to go in a little bit deeper. Or maybe they looked, like, okay, they got it. Move along a little bit faster. So it's also learning the technique of adjusting to your audience. There's some audience members, some groups that just get it faster than others. Some groups you have to go over a little bit slower and more detail than some other groups that are like, okay, got it, let's move. So whatever you're teaching them, look at your audience. Because when they get it, the eyebrows will go up and their eyes will become big and they're like, got it. All right? And then you move on. The third technique is to slow down and take your time. No matter if you have 5 minutes or 2 hours, you have to slow down to give them time for it to absorb. So you give a technique, a tip, and then you give a story, and each time you give chance for people to absorb what you just said. Give them a chance to laugh when there's time to laugh. When you have that ability to make it absorb more than the ability to shove as much in as possible, that's when you become a real speaker. Because now they actually can absorb and take in what you're trying to sell them. So those are the ways you sell from stage or in front of a group, is you show up authentically of who you are. You give them real value by giving them the relatability of who you are and your message, and you're slowing it down so that they can absorb what you just said. So stop rushing through, pushing too much info, and not giving your sparkling smile and who you are, no matter how goofy and how silly you may be, right? I giggle all the time, and that's who I am. If you don't like it, that is fine, because I don't resonate with everyone, right? 20% of the crowd doesn't like you. Get over it. Focus on the top 20% who do, because that bottom 20% who doesn't like you, guess what? You don't like them either, so it is okay. So I am Tonya Hoffmann. I'm the CEO and founder of the Public Speakers Association. And for membership opportunities to get training or attend a live event in your area, go to my website, publicspeakers.association.com. And I would love to get to know you.
Imagine having a success story of your own. Whether you want to start your own podcast or re-energize your current one, the Podcasting by Professionals newsletter has what you need to be successful and on the cutting edge of the podcasting wave. So take advantage of this marketing opportunity of a lifetime and start getting your message out to millions by engaging new audiences in the fastest way possible through a podcast. So visit podcastingbyprofessionals.com and sign up for our newsletter today. That's podcastingbyprofessionals.com.
Hi there, I'm Teresa Maron, and I'm the Learn To Queen. Join me and my guest expert collaboration partners for an inside look at the problem-solving industry. We want to help you so that you can help others.
Speakers, coaches, teachers, and authors all have a similar goal. They want to become an expert, and podcasting is a great way to create a regular environment for prospects to find you, want to connect with you, and then take that next step to a one-on-one program with you. So starting your own show that reaches your target market is probably the fastest way to grow your professional reach. But being a guest on an established show is also a great marketing strategy. So think about these 3 game changers. First, once you've taken the time and effort to become an expert, you want to stay one. You've written a book, a curriculum, you've developed a program, and this sets you up as an expert. So use the strategy of being an expert guest starring on podcast to keep you in that expert position. By using the archived sound files or the embedded players on your website, people will still find you, listen to you, and get updates on you. And remember, this is convenient for them as well as for you. Now, second, you're going to build a loyal and dedicated, engaged audience by establishing yourself as an expert guest. Because when you're ready to launch another book, a class, a program, or even a live event, you will have built up a list of hosts that resonate with you, that understand what your message is, and have already expressed an interest in sharing your point of view with their listeners. Now, third, you are going to stand out as the perfect collaboration partner. Successful hosts are also successful entrepreneurs, and they are looking for people to partner with that understand the highly collaborative nature of podcasting. Make sure you know how to utilize the medium with a well-crafted message that also showcases the goals of the host and honors that collaboration. You can see how this is a business development tool, but I think for speakers in particular, being an expert guest on podcasts can be a real game changer for maximizing your speaking engagements. But I will tell you this, it's not just putting a mic in front of you and talking to the host. It takes a few more action steps. But if you're a speaker, you're not lazy. In fact, you've probably put together a lot of content already. Speakers are usually the rock stars of content marketing. They write, they teach, they inspire from the front of the room. They have to have charisma. You know, it's like a multifaceted bag of tricks. So adding the title of expert guest on a podcast is going to be a very easy choice and a very good choice for them. So now let me just give you the number one reason that speakers should use podcasting to maximize their public speaking engagements. When you book yourself as a speaker, you have to be there. So you're limiting yourself by the time-space paradigm. By being a guest on a podcast, your words are going to live forever, and you can reach many more people, both live and in the archives. So I want to tell you, after hosting hundreds of experts on my podcast in the last few years, I have learned a few things that I know all hosts appreciate. So I put together an article on 9 tips to build your star power as a speaker by being a guest on a podcast. Hop on over to podcastingbyprofessionals.com to check that out. But I will give you one hint. During our presentation by expert guest star Tonya Hoffmann on our segment today, which was fabulous, by the way, I noticed she used 4 of these tips. Now, she is a true professional expert guest, and she knows what works, but that was highly informative for me and great confirmation. That's why she's a great and welcome addition to any show. So make sure you read the article to see what hosts are looking for. I'm Teresa Maron, the Learn To Queen, and I'm your content marketing mentor. I want to help you so you can help others.
1.5 billion smartphones are waiting for content. Currently, 159 million Americans listen to online radio. Yes, podcasting is here to stay. However, podcasting is more than just sticking a microphone in front of you and talking. Our program, Podcasting for Beginners, will start you with all of the right moves to create a look, feel, and experience that your listeners will not soon forget. Create authority in your industry and connect with new customers with a professional podcast. Isn't that what you want? Join us at Podcasting by Professionals. Our 5-hour program is an easy-to-follow, step-by-step instructional to help you avoid the mistakes that can keep you in a holding pattern for months, even years. Early bird pricing available now at podcastingbyprofessionals.com. Join us and get your name in the game. We're reaching millions.
This is news from Podcast.Place, the web's place for podcast industry news. iHeartMedia has gotten into podcasting in a big way. The company announced this past week that they will unveil a new series of original podcasts that will allow marketers to collaborate with a number of celebrities and talent through customized podcast and creative storytelling. iHeartMedia has teamed up with a broad spectrum of A-list producers, musicians, actors, music industry veterans, and curators to produce these podcasts. They include the producer of the TV hit series and gaming franchise The Walking Dead, and more. In addition to the podcast, the team will produce innovative audio programming and storytelling that will air as long-form segments on iHeartRadio and short-form segments across the iHeartMedia radio stations nationwide. Former KDKB Phoenix morning personality Kevin Conklin will launch a new podcast this fall. It's created to educate, entertain, and attract people to the scientific research programs at Arizona State University. The podcast, ASU Connections, will feature conversations with professors, researchers, and guests of Arizona State. More accolades for Serial. At the 74th Annual Peabody Awards, the podcast sensation Serial has become the first podcast to win a Peabody. And finally, wrapping up the week's most popular podcast on the iTunes chart, This American Life comes in at number 1. The rest of the top 5 looks like this. Spontanea Nation with Paul F. Tompkins comes in at number 2. Number 3 is Serial. Wait, Don't Tell Me came in at number 4. And the TED Radio Hour wrapped up the top 5. For more podcast industry news updated daily, visit Podcast.Place, a website devoted exclusively to on-air hosts and producers working in the podcast industry. Brought to you by podcastingbyprofessionals.com. And that's what's happening in the podcast industry from Podcast.Place.
Join us next week on Podcast for Profit when our special guest will be Kimberly Maska, the Mindful Marketing Coach.
Become an expert host of your own show and podcast for profit with podcastingbyprofessionals.com. Join us. We're reaching millions.